Close game, Penn State, Nebraska. Penn State on Senior Day was able to get a win over Nebraska. It was a pretty comfortable win. I mean, the score shows that they only won by 12, but really, they won this game pretty much by like 32. Call the dogs off. Nebraska was able to move the ball well. Penn State really wasn't playing with any intensity, and they had the reserves in, and they were able to move the ball well on them at towards the end of the game. But I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty good performance. The Penn State's offense was just way too good for Nebraska's defense. They were overmatched. Penn State was able to pass the ball and run the ball. Barkley had a great day. McSorley had a great day. Hamilton and Johnson had a great day. Gesicki did well. Everybody was on point offensively. Defensively, decent job. The first 10 points Nebraska had good field position for. Then they had all these 3-and-outs, and then they had 2 touchdowns in the third quarter when the starters were still on. But I think part of it was just they weren't playing with the same level of intensity. It was 42-10. The game was pretty much over. But they saw the starters in, and Tanner Lee, Nebraska didn't quit and made it a 42-24 game. And then the offense did their job and got it to 56-24. And defensively they did well against the run, and they got some when they got pressure on Tanner Lee. He was able to miss his passes, had to throw it away, or just good cut, and also the coverage was better then too. When he was able to have some time, he was able to make some passes, and then later on in the game when he was getting a lot of time and our coverage wasn't as good. He was going to make some plays. Tanner Lee's not a bad quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, but he's decent, and he's going to make his plays when he has some time and when his guys are open. And that's pretty much why he was able to march his way down the field. But I think overall Penn State did a decent job defending him. I mean, he got 399 passing yards, but you have to take a lot of those yards out of consideration because Penn State did call the dogs off for most of that fourth quarter, but Nebraska did fight to the end. But that Nebraska team, they're atrocious. I mean, in the state of their program right now, I mean they're not like there's no signs of them coming back to the national prominence, and they haven't been in the national prominence in the last 10 years. I can't think of one time when they were really a threat to winning a conference championship or even being in the top 10 at the end of the season. And that's just how it is. They're just not playing very well. I mean, this year wasn't very good. And anybody who watched that game yesterday from Nebraska knows that you go 12-point loss. It's not terrible, but if you watch the game, you know that this was more of like a 32-point loss. And you guys were down 56-24. I mean, it would be like just to put it in perspective, it would be like losing. It would be like being up. It would be like your team losing 42-10, and then them or we'll just say 38-6, and then they get 20 points and it's 38-26 in the last 10 minutes of the game, or actually last 7 minutes before they actually scored, and you're like, oh, great performance. Well, no, you guys just got garbage time points against our reserves. Mike Riley moving forward probably going to be fired. Just this defense is terrible. I mean, Penn State would just completely murder that defense. The offense isn't bad. I think it's about average in the Big Ten. I mean they put up a decent amount of points on Penn State. I know 44 is a lot, but once again, the score doesn't really represent what the game really was. And I think James Franklin said it right. He was just trying to have the distinction between calling the dogs off, and then maybe you're not able to play up to the standard, and kind of leaves a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth, or you keep pounding them, and then you get kind of accused of running the score up. So, because if the starters were in, the game wouldn't have been what it was. But I mean, overall, it was still a 12-point win, not bad, and it was a dominant win for the most part of it. So I mean, good win. They got Maryland up next, same kind of team, not as Nebraska. Just I think I might favor Penn State a little bit more, even because Maryland, their defense isn't very good, like Nebraska, and Maryland's quarterback is like their third string guy. Can't really throw much. Can't really do much at all. So I think Penn State should be able to win that game. It's an away game, but it might even end up turning into like a neutral game with the fan base Penn State has and the year Maryland's had. Started out real good. I think they were 2-0, and now they're 4-7, and not going to a bowl game, even if they win against Penn State, most likely. So I mean, Penn State's probably going to stay at 10. I don't really think. I think if you examine this game, there's really no reason why Penn State should get passed by anybody. I don't really think they should be going ahead of anybody. The only team I can make a case for is Notre Dame, because they barely beat Navy, and I think they're a little overrated right now. If you look at these last couple weeks. For Penn State to still get in the playoff, they're going to need a lot to happen. But if they beat Maryland, they're going to be in the New Year's Six, pretty much guaranteed. If they lose, they're probably going to the Outback Bowl. So there's still some at stake to play for. Barkley's playing in the bowl game no matter what. But if we can just go out, get a 10-win season next week at Maryland, that would be big. So overall, a decent win. Score doesn't really show what the game really was. A couple garbage time points for Nebraska, but it's good that they fought to the end at least, I guess, for them. I mean, they're still going nowhere this year, but whatever. So peace out, guys. That's a wrap. 9-2.